Red Bull was like, well, you have to do him, and you're like, fuck. No, I did. That's also what I figured too. Yeah, yeah. I know, man. That's one of the ones I don't know why I didn't go to. I was. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, of course. You know what's crazy though? He's like a smart dude. And I mean smart dude. Like I know hood dudes and no, no. I just watched. Yeah, just watching interviews and just how he'll say shit. I'm like I don't like his music. Like I like some songs. Obviously, I play as a DJ, but like some song like this interviews and hearing him tell stories. I'm like his best friend got killed. So he kind of talks about things like he's like you know if I'm in the streets, I gotta know what it's like. He's very aware. I think what it is. Not necessarily smart, but he's very aware of what he is and what the style that he's in. Yeah, 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 yeah. Damn. What you plan on doing next? Okay. That might be interesting. Yeah. Okay. Mm. And this is my opinion. This is my opinion. I love Chuck. I actually met Mikey a hundred times, but I love Chuck. When Chuck was working on the shit, he hit me up every day. It was like beats, 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 beats. Um, good homie. So when they were gonna first, remember they were gonna first reunite like a long time ago. Donald had the big Austin stage. This is like 2 years, 2.5 years ago. Donald had like the closing Austin the festival show, which was like the big, you know what I'm talking about. Um, and he was like, I'm gonna book Travis Scott and somebody else. I was like, nah, we should get the Cool Kids. And book the Cool Kids. I'm glad Donald listened to me. They're not fucking with it. I don't know if you went to Ilmore last year. Yeah, exactly. So you plan on doing it next month? Okay, no, okay, no, that's decent. No, you're good. And again, I'm not telling you this to like convince you not to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you my perspective. Yeah, no, Reggie's, yeah, that would be fine. I thought she was about to do like the Metro. Yeah, yeah. No, no. Again, I'm not trying to make you be like, oh shit. Yeah, I I love their music, but it's rough. It's the whole era before all of us started cracking in Chicago. Like, it's rough. It's still rough. Still rough. No one gives a fuck about Kid's sister. You know what I'm saying? Or Nigel. I love Nigel. Nigel's one of my good ass friends. No one gives a fuck. And you know he knows that shit. Yeah. If you don't have the kids, no one cares, bro. Because even Playboy Cardi, his music is ass. But kids love him just because they're so obsessed with the little things now. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Nothing. But it's cool because like the kids like, oh, it's cool. Yeah. Can you imagine Frank Ocean? Frank Ocean do a show here. If Frank Ocean would do a show here, I'm hitting. I'd hit up everybody. I'm in that bitch side stage watching. He's probably if he can get away with it too. Yeah. How much did he sell first week? Oh shit! For Boys Don't Cry? No, I'm sorry for Blonde. 250 first week. Yeah, yeah. Even if he has like at least 2 points, yeah. And sales. I mean, Chance made 2.3 off streaming, though. Chance is rich as fuck. It pisses me off too. Anytime we go do some shit, he's always cheap. I'm like, stop it. Like, well, no, he pays for things, but there be times where he be acting like, like you don't have a million, or you don't sell $1 million in merch. Like, come on, stop. We last drop because when he does like the big drops, a lot of shit, he sold like 1.5 like in the first week. Maybe pays out like he doesn't pay out more than 50 grand. You know what I'm saying? He don't pay out more than that shit. Yeah, tech. I mean, that takes a cut off like off what is it? Off gross. So like when you pay for everything, that takes a cut. I don't know. He's super rich. Yeah. I saw that. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Oh, he's doing a Kit Kat commercial. Yeah, he got paid a lot. That's a full production. Yeah, they shot in Skokie. There's like this cool little place. I know. I was thinking about that. No, it's just him. Chance got offered the. I mean, don't tell nobody. I was gonna tell you. Chance offered the Nando rope Star Wars. Yeah, Donald's doing it though. Donald took it. Yeah, they gave him. They offered it him first. He said he didn't want him to do something that's bigger than him. It's like if he were to do. He can do anything. It's crazy. Yeah, we all hung out like last Saturday. We did a bunch of friend shit, and then he's like, I got a flight at 10 in the morning, and he was gonna sleep over my house, and he ended up just going home. He's like, yeah, I might miss my flight if I sleep at your house. I was like, okay. And Shantae was like, you sure? And he's like, nah, I'm just gonna go home. He didn't get me in a ride home, and then I woke up in the morning and I saw him tweet like, catch me live at Made in America. And I'm like, why did you say that you're doing Made in America? You just said like, bro, it's weird. No, he said that. He said he's like, I have to go to New York and then I'm going to Beyonce's party. He was talking about that when he was talking about Men in America. Good, thank you. It's weird. Like, have you met Beyonce? Yeah, I met Beyonce once, and then like when you see her, just like glowing, she has like this glow. But I don't find Beyonce sexually attractive. I just like a person that comes over, I'm like, oh my god, here, like it's Beyonce, but it isn't like a heartbeat. We were talking about this the other, me and Zig was talking to mine. We're talking about Beyonce or Rihanna. And I'm like, Rihanna instantly, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I definitely smash Beyonce. I was like, but she just feels like an ant. So I understand. She's not. She's like 34. It isn't like Stacey Dash, who looks like she's 27, but she's like about 50. You know that Stacey Dash might be 50 years old? Yeah. Yeah, you start exactly. No, definitely. I think a lot of it is. Honestly, that's how I feel about Vic. Yeah, he's around all that shit, hanging out with doing all these things, and it's like, be cool, bro. That's all you gotta do. Be cool. I don't think he. I mean, I feel like he looks something. He does shit, but also I know Vic to be like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, who's there? I ain't doing that. Like, you can come or you cannot come. I remember like for Chance's baby shower, like I had to beg him to come, and I was like, come on, bro. Like that's our best friend, bro. Don't do that. and he was there. Saw the guys, dipped. He was a good person at the end of the day, but still like I don't fuck with that rap shit. Um, to my understanding is they last time they hung out or like were next to each other, they got into an argument about Chance stealing Kizzy's face. But then I saw an interview recently. I mean, obviously, like I know the inside, but then like even seeing the outside perspective, the interview said Big Man for State Project and Chance Rap, and I'm like, okay, clicked it, and the dude was like, so how are you and Chance? And he was like, we're good. Looking at the camera, went. I was like, all right, bro, I know what that means. Yeah, definitely. That song that I had for Vic, Chance wanted that for him in an Earl Sweatshirt like EP that he was trying to do. And then Zig was like, why don't you just ask Chance if you and he's like, if you Chance and Vic, I'm like, it's not that easy. And then he was like, all right, why don't you send it without Vic and then get his verse and then you already have Vic's verse, so don't let them know each other and put it out with them together. I'm like, yeah, bro, that you realize like I'm not about to lose my friends for a song. That's the worst idea. Like, no, definitely. I understand. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's not that serious, bro. Like it's all good. Zig's on no problem. Yeah, the mine's on no problem. He does the woo. Yeah. So when they were working on that song, I was in one of those sessions to work on that song. I didn't end up doing anything on the song. I guess I wasn't really fucking with it when they were brass tracks. They're dope. But yeah, Zig. I brought Zig with me. Chance like you should do some like some shit. And he ended up doing it, and he ended up being on the song. I was like, that's dope, man. He's still on cinematic. Yeah. Yeah. John manages no name now. In the mind. Yeah. He's in Toronto. He's in town because we have the show all together Friday. Canvas is no name. It's the mind. It's me no name. Yeah, you should come. I mean, I got you. Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, it's at Canvas. Canvas like a little small gallery space. XL trying to sign her. Yeah, I don't like XL, man. I used to. I used to love XL. I used to be like, man, I only want to sign an XL. Me and Aaron would be like, let's sign an XL Rock Nation. Like, we love that shit. And then I met with XL, and I was like, y'all ain't for me, man. Yeah, yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, but the head of A&R now is this dude named Imran. And Imran weird, man. Like, I mean, weird. Like, he was playing me all these acts. Like, you should look at this act that I have, this act that I have. And they're like virtually invisible. What's up, man? How you doing, man? He's playing me all this weird shit, and I didn't know any of them. He's like, yeah, this is kid from like Dublin, like living in a small town. Like, fuck you. Is that like XL Stan? Like, this is guy who like lives in a box in New York, in Iceland. He lives. He only has one parent. It's weird, I know, but he's just like this clone baby. Well, that's actually Spooky Black. He's like a clone baby. Yeah, he's a test tube baby. Yeah. What's his name now? Corbin. He flames though. He's dope. He's like 15 years old. When he blew up, he was like when all that shit was happening, he was 15. Spooky Black was not popping at all. So I think we. Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. But he's flames though. Like his music is dope. I think his actual name is Corbin. He get close real fast. Yeah. Make sure you get clothes on you real quick. I mean, honestly, that's probably how I feel a little bit too. Like, I haven't put any records out, so I don't think people care as much. But like, there's a thing that like I always say, people don't fall off, they fall back, and that's like what I've been trying to do, which is like just to be cool. Cause last year I was doing so much shit, and this year like I said, I only dropped driving and that Kanye remix. You know what I'm saying? That was it. That's like the only real thing that I dropped, and that was the whole point of shit. And that's why I don't think windows will close. Even me saying like window close for Corbin or Spooky Black. I think some artists need to take time just to like find themselves and do shit. Yeah, exactly. I can do whatever I want, but yeah, yeah, no, definitely, yeah. It'll dip on you. It'll get you real fast. Cause who's that kid that was signed to? He was here. He was in 2080s. Not him, but he got signed to Stone's Throw. What was his name? Julian Malone. I saw him recently, and I was like, oh shit, Julian Malone. But yeah, he got signed to Stone's Throw, and then like nothing happened. No, but he's on a Stone's Throw website. Yeah, damn, that happened to me real quick. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, it's weird. I feel like in Chicago too, specifically, because we have so much shit happening. Like you can get like an inch, and if you don't, once you get the inch, and you're just not like pushing to get through, because we got them. Chicago got them. Like even like Femdot, like no one knows Femdot. Well, who say 3 years from now? Like even someone like Chance or even Joey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now look at it. Yep. Yep. All of them. I remember my homie Simon White. He manages like he used to do Block Party. He does Phoenix still and Hudson Mohawk. But he hit me up and he's like, "What about this Joey Purp kid?" I was like, "You know about Joey?" This is before I think iDrops came out really. This is when I think when Cornerstone just came out. He's like, "I just sent it to Chess Blaze." He's like, "He really likes it." I was like, "Okay." How you doing? How you doing? I'm Steph. Nice to meet you. Who's that? Oh, okay. Yeah, she on Pitchfork? Yeah. Can I send some beats to her? Do you know her? I know a creative direction. Dude, just don't be a dick to my friends, okay, dude? Hey, bro, you rap? So you ain't making music no more?
I got beats.
You trying to rap a Vic no more? What?
I like the way he raps.
You're funny. So why are we just doing it with him then?
It's cool. Yeah, it's just like the same shit. Not doing anything different.
Oh, you're saying Vic hasn't grown as a rapper?
Nah, he's just yeah, he's like stuck in his comfort zone. Uh, yeah, I'm trying to make money. I want to be, actually I like coding too, cause it's like something different.
Yeah.
I just started doing this shit. It's pretty cool. It's like making beats.
I mean, I don't know yet, so I can't like. I don't even have like an
I feel like
opinion.
you would like it,
Coding?
but you'd get really frustrated.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, I can't do this. I like making music. It's just so music is the funnest shit ever. I made like this score piece the other day. I'm like, this shit is hot.
Word. That beat that's on Atlanta, like on the clips and shit, it's super hot.
You talking about the Tame Impala? Boom, 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 boom,
No, not
boom,
that one.
boom, boom.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah,
That's
that one.
Tame Impala, bro.
That was it.
You don't know who Tame
I
Impala
know
is?
who Tame Impala is. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only song I know.
By Shaggy? That's my favorite song. That's the artistic genius. Who is that? I still don't know who that is. So you're not gonna rap no more?
I'm just gonna make beats on the side. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make cool beats.
Your rap sucks, bro.
I know, bro.
Just kidding, man. I'm kidding.
Nah, this shit. I'll be like, even. And then I'll be like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, that was good. But I'm honest.
What are you talking about?
Like my music and shit, like that we did, I was like, that was cool. Some of it was cool. Some
No,
of
I
it
like the
not.
last part. I like the way that you guys mix all the shit together, and that was. I think that was different. I'm about that idea on a bigger artist,
Yeah.
like someone like Jargon,
Oh yeah.
a way bigger
Right.
artist than y'all.
That nigga's so cold, man.
11:30. Why?
How they gonna yell at me, man?
Is she really?
No, that's funny, man. I can't even joke about that no more.
Yeah, I don't know if you're joking or not.
Yeah, no. Step, I'm gonna make you an app, bro.
Can't just be where you can drag me off.
Yeah, you're just like, oh,
Right there. We're like in front of like a bunch of music industry people.
I
Just
know,
talking.
right?
I don't care if like
Bro, you ever play Beavis and Butthead, the video game on Sega?
that shit was terrible.
Yo, that was a terrible game. I watched an angry video game nerd on it. Shit's
Oh yeah,
really
the
bad.
angry. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I
hot.
like angry video game nerd.
Yeah, right.
I bet he's like a cool dude, but he's
He
also
is.
like an angry nerd.
Yeah, no, he's good at his act.
You know my homie Jeremy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's like an angry nerd. He like don't be liking shit. I went to go see it, right? So he always be don't be liking shit. And I'm always like, man, you get off that.
Right.
We went to go see Neon Demon. He's like, I like the cinematography. I was like, bro, this movie is ass, dog. I don't care about that shit. Am I entertained, dog? I was like for real mad, and he was like, I could tell like his face. He's like, I don't know if he's joking or not, but I was like, no, dog, this movie is terrible. I'm like, dude, you're not ever picking movies ever again, dog. Like this shit was ass. I was on my phone the whole time wasting money on this shit, bro. Like this shit is fucking ass, bro. What's wrong with you? This shit weak as fuck. Fuck wrong with you, boy?
You know, I feel bad about this shit for real.
You know how I am, man.
Yeah,
I just
man.
don't like wasting time, bro.
I like when you get like that. Like that shit was bad, bro.
I don't like
You
wasting
know what's
time.
funny about you though? You're just like, yo has to say something whack. Like that shit was terrible. And then like 3 years later, you be like, that's the best movie ever. Yo has say every movie is the best movie ever.
When's that happen? When have I done that?
Bro, you did that with Straight Outta Compton. You said, bro,
Oh, I
that
said
was
it
too-
right now.
No, you
Stupid ass, you be remembering
You
shit.
said that right after you like, "Man, I was 2 seconds away from a Lifetime movie. That shit was
Okay,
corny.
then I watched it, and then
Yeah.
that shit hot.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot when it came out, but I wouldn't give it the best black movie.
Nah, that's not the best black movie ever.
Nah.
Fuck Friday, fuck around the best black movie ever.
Friday, yeah, Boys in the Hood.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Boys in the Hood, the best black
Boys in
movie
the
of all
Hood
time.
is like up there. Best scary hood movie is might be Leprechaun in the Hood or
Best scary hood movie, bro.
Yeah.
Blair Witch might count as a scary hood movie.
No, hold up. Tales from the Hood. That's a really good.
No, scary hood movie. If we're speaking culturally, Saw might be up there.
Yeah, true.
Cause I know more people of color who like Saw.
Yeah. No, they like that. Culturally.
Culturally,
I'm talking about with like a all black cast.
they ain't never been a scary movie off
Yeah,
like
it
that.
is. Tales in the Hood.
A good one.
Tales in the Hood is raw. I'm tripping, man. David Allen Greer's in it.
Boom. What?
years ago, where it's like I was excited just to have a little pocket radio. And it's like now it's like I often look at this. It's like
Chris don't make your shit.
right now.
Yeah, of course. I mess with Chris every Monday.
If I want to,
Hang out with Chris every Monday. He good. He busy. You know.
He always tired now. They got a headache all the time.
No, I think he be getting sleep.
Yeah.
send like information to someone like that. Oh, so I can see.
Zach De La Rocha working on a solo album.
Who?
Zach De La Rocha.
Really?
And it's produced by LP. Like the.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. LP
He
and
a
him.
bitch.
You don't like LP? I don't like him either. But I can see them working together.
I'm PC, so I'm that nerd So yeah, I probably would get Apple products if I'd actually be making more money. But yeah, I didn't actually see that. So yeah, let me know about that. What did you? Or what's interview? Wow. Yeah, because
This shit, it hot. They need to put the acapella out.
Generation Myers and Generation X, they tend to take more like for instance selfies and like pictures of different stuff. So that's that's kind of insane, like a little bit, unless it's easier for
Oh man, get your black ass up there, boy.
unless it's like
I was just like,
This your back. All right, whatever. I think this has something to do with it. Either way.
okay, great. I just thought that was so funny. Like, can you imagine Tokyo and just like, oh yeah, it is. Thank you. Just like helping himself into Gaga's studio. Just like high as shit, taking Snapchat.
Hello. Hey, if everybody could come on in and grab a seat, we're about to get started. That's great. My daughter's kindergarten teacher can't get that to be done with their kids, so that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Hey, good morning. My name is Doug Carrillo. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing with Virgin Hotels. Thanks and welcome. I'm glad you guys are all here with us today. We are here to have what is our fourth Room 72. We started them in April of last year. Let me tell you a little bit about what Room 72 is and a little bit of the genesis behind it. Obviously, you know, Virgin has probably the most badass entrepreneur in the world, Richard Branson, who we are so fortunate to have as part of our family. And Richard himself and a lot of the other Virgin companies that fall under the Virgin Group have been big supporters of the entrepreneurial community in the businesses that they do and in the communities that they're in. So when we launched Virgin Hotels, we basically wanted to keep that going. And we figured, hey, what a great way to give back to the Chicago entrepreneurial company by doing these types of series of events that focus on different industries from an entrepreneurial perspective. And so this being the fourth one and being so close to how Richard started his businesses with music when he launched Virgin Records, we thought it was really appropriate and appropriate timing, especially on the eve of Riot Fest this coming, or next weekend, I should say. So anyways, we are happy to have you guys here. We couldn't do this without partnership help. And this year, we're really happy to be partnering with General Assembly. And I'm going to introduce you to a couple of folks with General Assembly. They'll tell you a little bit about themselves and what they do. But we're really fortunate to have them as part of our group of Room 72 for this year. We'll be doing another event in November, which will be announced pretty soon, and the subject matter will be announced as well too. But let me introduce you to Kelsey Hayenge and John Donahue with General Assembly. Thanks, everybody.
Just gonna step right into that void. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. Yeah, so my name is John Donahue. Thank you all for coming. I am the regional director of General Assembly Chicago. For those of you who are maybe unfamiliar with General Assembly or maybe have just heard of us, we're a global technology education company. So what we really focus on is teaching people in the entrepreneur world, or people who are looking to make career changes or add a skill in the tech, design, or business world. We want to be in a place where we can help people like yourselves find the skills you need to do the work you love, to get that startup off the ground, to make that career transition. Whatever it is, we really want to position ourselves in a place where we can help educate people like yourselves who may be thinking about to an entrepreneurial field. How do I blend technology with what I'm doing on the music side of things? And really, that's why we're here today. What we've seen globally and in Chicago is that blending. We've seen a lot of people coming from musical backgrounds doing really cool things in the music world and coming to General Assembly to kind of add the technology they need to get their ideas off the ground, or to make things happen for them to kind of do the work that they love and create the things that they want to see in the world. So that's why we're here today. We're in the River North District. If there is something on the tech, business, or design side that you are looking to learn about, check us out. We can definitely give you a really good skill set, or help you make that change so that you can do whatever it is that you really want to do. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it off to Kelsey. Kelsey's going to, introduce our wonderful guests, and thank you. Thank you all for coming. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
I'm really excited too. Hello, y'all. My name is Kelsey Hayenge. I'm also with General Assembly. Please be a part of our community. We'd love to help you connect to those resources like John said. Our community is growing every day, so I have a lot of thank yous I've got to tell you right now. This afternoon, if you're able to stay, we've got some breakout sessions that are going to be great, and the people that helped us put those together are 2112 Inc. We've got Scott, is he in here? Right over here, so come check that out. We've also got some support from Columbia College Chicago and their music business department, Dynasty Podcast, Leo Burnett, reverb.com, and So Far Sound Chicago. So thank you all for your support. Now I have the pleasure of introducing our moderator from today. We have Mr. Blake Smith. He has an awesome background. He's an artist himself, a platinum artist himself. Oh, a former platinum artist himself. Just moderates amazing panels now. That's what he does. Lots of fun facts. I recently learned that he has music on Grand Theft Auto 4, the best-selling Grand Theft Auto. Really awesome, diverse career. He's done a lot of great things in music. He's gonna, I don't even know what else to say. Now he is. He's your guy. Now he's the director of entertainment for Virgin Hotels. So let's give him a warm welcome. Thank you for Blake.
Yeah.
I'm not qualified at all. I don't know why I'm here. I just
Stefan, name some of the people that you produced.
Tupac,
Just the Oliver.
Beatles. Not a lot of people know me for like Childish Gambino or like Chance the Rapper with Big Mensa or Janae Aiko. I work with Beck. I mean, I can like keep going like Kanye, but no, I don't want to. But yeah.
Pretty amazing career for hip-hop and electronic PR agency. Can we talk a little bit about your accomplishments?
Sure. Well, we do everything, so not just hip hop and electronic. We do rap and hip hop. Yeah. Okay. So Catherine's my business partner. She started the company in Chicago. Now we have an office in LA. I live half the year in LA and half the year in Chicago, but I'm born and raised in Chicago, so I consider myself a Chicagoan.
Yes, you were born and raised in Chicago as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, we primarily are a PR agency, but we also do management. I A&R for 2 record labels, Catherine A&Rs. So we do kind of everything. And, you know, in the shifting landscape that is the music industry, I think a lot of people do everything now. And it's important to have the knowledge of how to do all those jobs, to do your job well. Because the role of a publicist has absolutely changed from when I started. So, yeah.
Ian Barber, founder, creator of Big Short Drive, a hugely influential, mostly rap and hip hop.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to talk a little bit about what you
Yeah, so my little feedback there. Sorry about that. Fake Short Drive music blog started about 10 years ago, based in Chicago, covers the entire Midwest, but the main focus is what's happening in Chicago. A lot of the bigger name artists of the past 5 years have kind of come from, under our wing. We were the first people to cover them, write about them. On top of that, we have a radio show on Sirius XM that runs weekly every Sunday night where we play Midwest music for 2 hours. We've been doing that for about a year now. Also do a lot of concerts, events, and parties, work with a number of brands, do a lot of different things.
Deb is, well, you're from Hype Machine. Does everybody in this room know what Hype Machine does necessarily? It's a blog aggregator. Maybe you can explain it a little bit better.
Sure. It's a site that aggregates, indexes several hundred blogs from around the world. It started out as a music discovery platform, as a place to sort of find out what blogs are writing about. But as the blogs sort of grew in influence, it became sort of a barometer for new artists, breaking artists, and the curatorial voice. And we started doing events and stuff like that as well.
Cool. So this is a panel on music and technology. So I thought I'd just start by asking each of our guests here what technological advance helped you get into stuff. You probably have a lot to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, if there wasn't for something like, not even SoundCloud right now, but MySpace is a lot of how I met my close friends now who I work with. And if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to see you or feed my family. And now it's even crazier for something like SoundCloud because I can just go on my phone and be like, let me upload a song from my email and put it on. Able to access to so many people so fast.
But that's interesting. So, traditional channels would be, you go play a bunch of shows out somewhere, hopefully they aren't at MC, and now you can bypass all of that. So,
yeah.
Dana, how has your role changed then? As PR, you mentioned yourself, you guys were a PR agency, now you're doing 16 different things. You're doing like art direction, graphic design, how important is that now that people can essentially make their own breaks themselves?
I mean, I think it's super important. It just changes the role of everyone, like Chance is a perfect example of that, of somebody that was basically, propelled by the internet and didn't go through any really traditional means. For us, it just changes the role, but I think people still have publicists. It's just a matter of, when I first started, it was sort of the end of the era of phone calls and faxing and hard copy mail outs of albums. And the way we service music and when we service music, I mean, email is essentially like changed, is why I can do what I do from multiple locations. I can work in Australia if I want to do. So email is really, for everyone, I think, changed.
Yeah, you guys, Chance has already come a couple of times. And Stefan, maybe start working.
Chance has a story how you came up to me, asked me for beats, and I was like, no. I don't think that actually did happen. But my best friend has a studio called Classic Studios, and I would work in and out of there because my best friend's studio in Missouri and whatnot, which I still do. And he came, and we randomly made like a song that day. And then I think that same week, he was like, I'm going to go on tour with this guy named Donald Glover, and you should come DJ for me. And that's kind of how it happened so fast. Like, it all happened extremely fast. And then we're on tour for like a year.
So So it was essentially a chance.
Yeah. It was.
That's what I'm about. So that's amazing. And then Andrew, I know you had a hand in his career as well.
Yeah. Chance, like a long time ago, like 2011, he was always tweeting his music to me online. He'd always just send it to me. He'd always like, check this out, check this out. I get so many submissions that it's hard to pay attention to everything. Actually, I did a Kids These Days like event, and that was Vic Mensa's band that he was in. They've now broken up, and Vic was like, "Man, you got to check out my friend Chance." After the event, he's like, "Yeah, I know. Thanks for all your support and booking us for this, but you got to check out my friend Chance." And I'd been hearing his name, and this is probably late 2011, and just around that time, one of my friends who used to write for Fake Shore Drive was his early manager. He's like, you gotta check out this kid that I found. A couple weeks later, he brought him into the office, and just from the minute I met him, the minute he walked in my office, I was like, okay, this kid's going to be a star for sure. He has it. I'm not sure what it is, but he's going to do it. And sure enough, here we are, 4 or 5 years later.
How do you decide what to post? You were joking earlier that sometimes people wait outside the panels for you. Like,
Definitely, yeah.
You've already got your escape route.
Yeah, right. I'm going to climb out the window to get out of here. No, I think it's a safe crowd, right? We're good. I look for a number of different things. I don't think it's just one specific thing, but it has to be, originality, because, everybody's just kind of trying to do the same thing. And I think in the history of music, people see what's popular and they try to emulate that. So I look for professionalism, hard work, creativity, people that go above and beyond, people that have their music properly mixed and mastered. And then there's just that raw element. Like a lot of people just have that natural element. Like you can tell that maybe their music isn't there yet, or what they have isn't quite there yet, but there's a star quality there. And if that can match up the star quality and the work ethic, then you have something special on deck.
So Jeff, how does Fake Machine help expose artists? Blog aggregators, so you go on websites, amazing website, you can see who's being talked about in real time. It's amazing. You can see numbers of what they're listening to at any time. There's a lot of interesting features on the site. How do you guys feel like you advance?
Well, initially we sort of put a spotlight on all these what were very small personal blogs. Blogs weren't what they are today. Blogs today have multiple writers, and the machine has a lot more sort of impact on blogs today than they did initially. Pardon?
How many blogs do you guys have involved?
I think at the moment it's around 750 or so. Yeah.
What's your criteria?
At the peak, it was like 1,400, but there was just so much noise that we kind of had to trim it down to get a little bit of clarity. Criteria is people that write about stuff, don't just post tracks. People that sort of have an individual voice and aren't just posting everything that's sent to them.
You wouldn't use like a record label blog or brand's blog?
We have a couple. Like we have Mad Decent's blog and a couple things like that sort of are pretty fresh and original and interesting. But typically, no, we don't do sort of corporate blogs or record label blogs or things like that. But to your question, I think, we have charts that sort of show what the most blogs are writing about and also what the listeners are liking the most. So these are two separate charts. And, if you're a club booker or an A&R person or a radio programmer or anything like that, you're going to go and look and see what's sort of happening in this world, which is sort of a layer below what's getting covered in the mainstream. And that's the service I think that we've provided.
It's interesting. So, Andrew, I know that you do work with some corporate brands, and this question was coming up.
Yeah, right. No, of course.
But how do you maintain like your editorial purity on your website? So I know that you've worked with Red Bull, you work with Nike, a bunch of huge brands. Does that influence who you actually post it?
No, because they're usually coming to me to try to figure out what's hot. They're not necessarily asking for like editorial help, like, hey, post about our new shoe coming out or post about this specific artist. Like, for example, my partnership with Red Bull is I've been working on this program called Sound Select, Red Bull Sound Select, for the past 4 years, where they want to come in to a market and know, okay, who are the hot up and coming artists? We want to give them a platform. We want to put them on shows. We might put them on a tour. We might put them in the studio with a bigger artist and then put out their music and then let them keep all the proceeds. That's more of what my partnership with them is. And that's kind of what I look for. You know, it's not always about just chasing the dollar or try to do, the deal, because some of the best deals you do are the deals that you don't do. But, you want to be able to maintain your integrity and not completely sell out, but still, not completely, but, artists, I feel like artists are ready to sell out now, more so than ever,
Hand me a check.
Right.
I'm doing it.
Come on, because there's no money. There's no money in it like there once was, when you could rely on album sales. So people are looking for it any way they can get it now.
Well, and how do you build a story for an artist? And that's an interesting point that, used to be frowned upon. Now everybody's trying to make money any way they can because, the way people monetize their art has changed drastically in the last few years. So how's that changed the way that you pitch band? Like, you've got an upcoming artist who want Andrew to post it. What do you do?
Well, I think first and foremost, like, I'm not a sorcerer, so like people, sorceress. So either people are interesting or they're not. I definitely, the most part, we don't work with artists who don't have a story already. We take on people who we think are interesting, and aside from being great musicians, also have an interesting story to tell.
Where would an artist have to be at? You guys consider picking up?
Anywhere. I mean, I'm working with a young woman named Jessie Reyes, who's not signed. She has like basically no music out.
Dope.
She has a one feature on a King Louis song, but I think she's amazing and going to be really big. So I've taken her on, and then, we have Daft Punk, who are one of the biggest acts in the world. So I can't remember what your original question was. Sorry.
That's a good
telling the
answer,
story. So I think the interesting thing is when I first started, we had a lot of like, being an unsigned act could be part of the story. And I really came from indie world, like sort of shying away from major label world. And now those two worlds have really come together. So a really interesting example is Skrillex, because when Skrillex first came on the scene, there were plenty of people that were making, the style of EDM that he does, or doing dubstep or that, in that world. He was really someone that broke out in a bigger way in the US because that scene had been happening in the UK, and people here didn't really know what to do with it, and it wasn't being accepted in the same way. And at a certain point, we started to use analytics as part of the pitch. And now that is part of the story where, artists that have no record label, they have no crazy history, they might have huge numbers on YouTube. And when I did press for Justin Bieber for like a year, it was challenging. But part of the story, it's funny, someone sent me an email that I sent out in 2009. And if you look at our roster, like a child pop star that's 12 doesn't sit naturally there. But I was like, yeah, I was like, he could be like a Michael Jackson. And people that I sent this to were like, are you kidding me? Like, do not email me this shit anymore. And we had no idea. And, like the editor at Pitchfork is still like, I'll never forget, you were the first person to tell me about Justin Bieber, So, because I was trying to, pitch it to Pitchfork, which is clearly at that time not the right audience. So someone sent me an email back that I had, like a pitch from 2009 that I had sent, where I was like, so this is like a little bit out of our wheelhouse, which is, Anyway, so it said, but he has over 35 million views on YouTube, and no one even knew who he was, which at that time was a really big deal. And he was the first artist that was really discovered off of that platform.
Yeah.
Right.
Bieber and Soulja Boy.
Right. Yeah.
Bieber and Soulja Boy.
So now though, 35 million is like, that's a lot, but like we're talking billions of views now. And actually, like Wiz Khalifa, I saw Wiz Khalifa and Charlie Puth yesterday is like the second act to have a video that has hit 1 billion. I think Salento,
2 billion.
Salento
It's 2
also
billion.
I noticed has like 1 billion, I think, on Watch Me Whip. So,
It's 2 billion.
I think that's part of the story now. Is like even if editors, you see it everywhere. Like Billboard, is a perfect example of like anyone. They're catering to what brings in traffic and what equates to analytics. So even if editors like the old guard, as we call them, they don't understand EDM or they're not super into like a one-hit song. If there's 1 billion views, they can't deny that this is influential because that's what their audience wants. So the shift has really been from like curation to now what analytics, you know, which is like why Hype Machine is so interesting and important, because if an editor's like, yeah, I'm not feeling this song, we can be like, yeah, but it's #1 on Hype Machine for 10 weeks. And that could affect how they cover it or not.
Did you take Bieber on with this way music?
I did. Well, actually, we were working
Like
with
his hair.
we were working with Scooter on another project, and Scooter was like a really interesting force to be reckoned with, even at that time. And I was like, you know, I grew up listening to Top 40, and I got into PR because I was like, I want to be like Madonna's publicist, Liz Rosenberg, who I just thought was really cool. And I was like, I don't know, I'll take on like a kid pop act. I had no idea that he was going to be Justin Bieber, or that, you know, it'd be what it is. And I haven't done a kid pop act since then.
What album was it for?
It was before there was an album. It was the first album. Like, it was the very beginning.
Like My World?
Yeah, before he was signed to Def Jam.
Yeah, I love Justin. No,
Yeah.
his early stuff is hot.
Yeah.
It's super hot. There's a song called Bigger.
Oh
Frank
my God,
Ocean
that
wrote
song was great.
Yeah,
That
Frank Ocean wrote that song,
yeah,
and Mini
I-
Mafia did that.
I was trying to get, you know, like, I actually wanted that to be the single, but I think Scooter and Ellie Reed were like more about,
That song's hot.
yeah.
We like the same music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting that you're talking about people getting, you know, billions of views on YouTube on their own, and you're posting individual songs. I mean, Hype Machine essentially, you know, you collect all these blogs, they're all posting individual songs. So, I mean, Stephanie, you have your first like solo record's coming out next year. Right?
Yeah.
Is it just a collection of singles, or is there any kind of overarching narrative?
Yeah, there's definitely narrative. I don't feel like I could definitely do like a Calvin Harris type thing. I love Calvin Harris music, but just like where songs with no personality kind of with it, and that's, I mean it, no offense to Calvin Harris. If any of you guys know Calvin Harris in here. But I feel like a lot of artists do that, where they kind of just put a collection of songs opposed to something where I feel like Coloring Book, or even because of the internet, where there's like a whole story and a whole thing that kind of go with it. That's what I'm trying to do with mine.
Do you think there's still an audience for that? Or people have
No, definitely, of course.
How long is the record? 40 minutes or like an hour?
I think it's 46 right now. It's close on.
Cool. Yeah, it's a nice. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
What's it about?
It's called The Boy Who Fell from Earth, kind of like David Bowie, but also I feel like as artists and as creators, we feel like we're necessarily like alone and we don't belong in certain places. When we actually do, when you find a collective of artists or creatives, people who are like your best friends, and you're like, I'm not alone. That's why I feel like The Boy Who Fell from Earth is like, you're from Earth, bro. Like, you're from here. Like, it's okay to be here.
It's interesting you drop David Bowie's name and wear a Smith's t-shirt, and most people think there's like a hip-hop.
Yeah. Hip hop is fun. It's the funnest thing. But I also love I love all types of music.
How do other genres influence what you do?
A lot, definitely. Like even someone like Ariel Pink or like Tim Impala, or I can keep going. Or Depeche Mode definitely influence like how I do my drums or sounds that I use.
So if you Google you see a lot of stuff like touring early on in your career.
Yeah.
Either you curate like pretty massive live events at a Hype hotel that you guys do in South by Southwest every year.
Trying to give me gigs right now? Y'all got some gigs? Got some money? You want some percentage?
No, I was at Hype hotel. Massive undertaking. What role does, and this can go up to anybody, does playing live have almost exclusively focusing on I think you're 7, 8 technological channels? So is playing live even important?
Absolutely.
Definitely. Merch goes crazy. The merch game will go crazy.
That's where the money is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, if we were to get to that eventually, so we might as well jump in. How can artists monetize their work these days? Because, it used to be you pick it down when you get offered, 6-figure record contract, you get published, you get all this stuff. But modern record deal model is more of a 360 thing. You guys want to explain what that means a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, basically a 360 deal, which is pretty much standard record deal to sign to a major label now, means they take a cut of everything. So they give you your money up front. That's essentially a loan. That's for you to barely live on, and that's your album budget. And then you have to recoup on that. You have to pay that back. And I think a lot of artists think that you get a $250,000 deal, like that's a check for $250,000. You can just do whatever you want with. But it's not. You got to pay that back, and then until you do, you're in the red with the label. So that's why it's
Some artists spend their whole lives
trying to pay. Yeah, right. But the 360 deal now essentially means that the label will invest this money in you, but they're going to take a cut of everything. They're going to take a cut of your merch. They're going to take a cut of your sales, your streams, your tour, everything.
which is a total flip from how it was. You go back 20 years, And bands would be like, oh, I have to go on the road to support the album. You know, and you take an artist like XTC that wouldn't tour, the labels say, well, we're not going to put that much money into this record then because we need you to tour to support it. And in fact, labels would pay the headline act tour support to get their band to open for them to get exposure. Now it's a complete flip. There's the money, the revenue from touring is going right to the artist, and the labels are like, oh shit, you know, we want some of this.
Clearly, the labels can keep track of things like T-shirt sales if you're, Taylor Swift, you're playing stadiums. But if you're, say you're signed to a deal, there's more of an emerging act you're playing like Lincoln Hall, where you can shoot a set.
You're not turning that in.
Are you reporting?
No.
I sold 11 shirts today.
Yeah, you really want to take a cut of 11 shirts? I mean, come on.
What are they? Are they trying to stay on top of that?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Probably. But I think now it's all changed because of streaming. I think now, when streaming, once that levels out and more people come online and embrace the streaming culture, I think there's going to be more money back in the industry, like just off pure streams again. And I think it's going to get back to where we were 15, 20 years ago.
But also $45 T-shirt, sell 10 of those.
Right.
You know.
So, you mentioned how technology has changed the way we get new music. Do you feel like it's slowly reverting to the old ways of like a select, finite number of gatekeepers for music that you feel like is still
I think it just keeps changing. I think the gatekeepers now are like Twitter people and Instagram. Now you have like celebrity personality, like blogs are even starting to fade a little bit, and it's becoming about just like personalities. Am I fading?
How do you guys fade?
I think blogs are fading a tiny bit.
Really?
This gets into a broader conversation about technology and the speed of consumption. I think for people to go to a blog destination is a step further. I mean, even the New York Times and Vice are seeing their traffic go down because people are getting stuff off of Facebook feeds and Twitter feeds and, getting it much more quickly. So that's why people aren't bothering to go that extra click to go to a blog and read stuff necessarily.
And you also have to think that like blogs, MP3 blogs really started before we had Spotify and streaming services. So MP3 blogs used to be a place where like underground people would go to check out stuff before it came out because people weren't releasing singles or whole albums online before they came out. And now it's like that's the norm. So if you have Spotify, you can just discover it all in one listen, or Apple Music or whatever, and you don't need to waste your time. Not that it's a waste of time.
No, I agree.
I think some people would rather just like listen to it and decide if they like it on their own versus like whether or not a critic tells them.
And they're paying, and these streaming services now are paying curators top dollar. They're stealing old bloggers or people that used to write for Double XL and different magazines to come in and curate their playlists. So you don't even have to leave.
Well, this also goes back to your question about gatekeepers. You used to have promo people trying to get the song on the radio because that was the, platform. Now you have promo people trying to get the Spotify playlisters to put the tracks on the playlist and things like that. So in a sense, we are seeing gatekeepers again emerge, just on different.
They're just different. They're not the traditional ones. It's always changed. I mean, every couple of years it changes.
You think that consumers now feel compelled to go out and actually pick up a physical record if they can stream it anymore? Like if they really like somebody's work, I think they're more likely to go out and pick it up.
Maybe on vinyl.
Yeah. Do you know how many
Laptops don't even have CDs
records have been bought?
No, I know. I mean,
seriously.
Yeah.
With
Kids,
services like Uber and Airbnb, I feel like with people's notions of ownership are drastically changing. What does it mean even in home music?
They don't care.
Well, there's a lot of kids buy vinyl records and never play them. Don't even own turntables, but they want to have some sort of tactile, connection with the artist. Like they want to have something that they can put up on the wall and say, I like and support this artist. Even though they're listening. It's like buying a t-shirt.
But that's why I think you have like, there's huge stories about like what Kanye West is doing with merch or what Justin Bieber is doing with merch, where you can have ownership in other ways. It's not about necessarily owning the album. It's about going to see the show, about having whatever part in that culture that you can. And quite frankly, like, Bieber and Kanye really stepped up the merch game, and they're selling it in like high-end department stores, and it actually is really good merch. So you might pay $200 for a sweatshirt.
What can the young artists learn from Bieber and Kanye about creating their own merch?
I don't know that. I think, I don't know about Bieber as much, but I think Kanye is like the example of like, be true to yourself as an artist and do what you want and don't let people tell you no. Because once you get in that system, it's a lot of checkpoints of people telling you no. And, the only way to bypass that is just really believe in yourself and believe in your art and do cool shit. Don't do like mediocre stuff. I mean, like, I've been to plenty of shows where like the merch is like just okay. And I think that's, like no diss to Taylor Swift, but her merch was like kind of whatever, but also that appeals to her audience. I don't think she like, no offense to Taylor Swift fans, please don't come after me.
I mean, they're not going to be selling Taylor Swift stuff at Barney's.
Yeah, I mean, I think I look at a lot of this stuff of like cover art or merch with a more critical eye because I'm like, man, that cover art's kind of whack. But also like, if a 15-year-old in like, Iowa can relate to it probably more than I can because they don't have the same reference points that I do, it makes sense. Like, there's plenty of mainstream artist cover art that I see, and I'm like, that is not artistic or interesting. It's not David Bowie level or Kanye level.
It's lowest common denominator.
Yeah, but it also appeals to people who aren't going to be offended by it, or that they don't have the same reference points because they've never heard of David Bowie. True story, So.
Stephanie, you have a record right now. Once you were done writing and recording it, producing it, mixing it, mastering it, how important was art to you at that point? Do you have artwork?
This is the first thing I got done.
You're kidding?
No, it was the first thing I had done.
What's the thought process behind that?
When I was younger and I would make music, I would look at books. If I can make a song that feels like that, that's how I did with the album. Like, I love this beautiful picture. If I can make an album that looks like that picture, that's what I was gonna tap into. I feel like a lot of artists don't care too much about it. I know plenty of artists who's like, I don't care, just have this person do it. Opposed to like someone like Kanye or Bieber, Justin hired the person who did Kanye's merch, Jerry Lorenzo. Yeah, so that's why it's kind of like in the same playing field. But even someone like Lil Yachty, who people don't really know, his merch is flames because he gives like crap about his merch. Opposed to like we'll say like Taylor Swift, probably doesn't. She's not like losing sleep over like, oh, this Gildan T-shirt is not going to print well. Like, I highly doubt she cares about that. But there are artists who do care about that, which I feel like you should care. One of the Beastie Boys said is like, I don't know how artists aren't making their own artwork, like, which is very true. I don't know how artists aren't making art. Like, how don't you not have a say in your own artwork?
When you were doing your album cover, were you thinking beyond, how it looked on a record?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all that. How the vinyl's gonna look when you open a vinyl. What does it look like inside? I was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, people are doing like now when you download an album for free, it has like a digital booklet. I'm gonna do digital videos. Why wouldn't I do that? Like, you have to step it up as an artist now because it's so easy to do anything. You can literally do anything as an artist. I can delete my SoundCloud, delete my Twitter, start a whole new name called Laptop. You know what I'm saying? And that's my thing. I make music on my laptop. That's my gist. You can literally do anything now as an artist if you're not being artistic creative or, like you said, having reference points for other things. You just aren't going to be cool at all in sex.
Interesting. I think we're legally required to talk about millennials. I checked with the mayor's office. We'll get a pretty hefty fine if we don't talk about them. I read an astounding statistic yesterday that millennials have an annual spending power of $245 trillion. When you make music, are you thinking about a specific generation that you're gearing it towards?
Yeah, I would say yeah. I was gonna say no, but I definitely want to make music for people who are like me. So I definitely like.
Technically, you're a millennial.
I guess. Am I?
You feel lazy in your title?
Is this therapy? Are you guys my therapist?
Therapy would be. Are we getting close to the point where we should open it up a little bit? People? Yeah. So, the great panel, you guys should definitely pick their brains. Have you got the microphone?
So there was an article that came out today said 100 million people are now paying for streaming music, and we were talking about that getting up to a level where it'll be you're making the kind of money that you were before. What kind of level does that need to hit to get there?
I mean, I don't know the exact number, but I think you need more than 100 million. That's worldwide, 100 million worldwide, right? That's not that many worldwide if you think about it.
Not at all.
That's very low.
Roughly what that paid if someone got streamed 100 million times.
Not very
I
much.
saw an article that said
But that's what I'm saying,
a
but
million
you-
streams on Pandora was as much as selling one T-shirt.
How much?
And see, it's bad right now, but it's
Million.
A billion streams is a $47 T-shirt. Is that what you said?
No, is as much as selling a T-shirt. It was like
A million or a
less than
billion?
17. A million.
yeah.
A million.
It's bad.
Less
It's
than
bad.
17 bucks. There was a great article it had. If you were listening to this artist's music for the entire time that you were reading this article, here's how much money this artist would have made, and it had just kind of like a little calculator along it. It's really interesting. It's curious to think about. You're paying a fixed price for this, but you're listening to 1,000 songs or a million songs, so the artists aren't making any more money depending on the volume you're listening
but
to.
I think it's the best. It's the best thing that you have to battle piracy, right?
Right,
So
right,
what do you can't go back. You can't fight technology.
Right.
You'll lose every time.
Right.
I mean, that's like when the music industry tried to stop MP3s by making CDs that you couldn't burn, that you couldn't copy,
Right.
like, which was the dumbest thing. You cannot. You have to embrace technology. In my humble opinion, that is the best thing we have is streaming, and it hasn't figured itself out yet. It's going to take time,
Yeah.
but I think it's the best option that we have at the moment.
Right.
More reason to pay attention to your merch.
Absolutely.
But also to that question, like Chance made 2.5 million off streaming. So how many times do you think he got streamed? Like off Coloring Book alone, 2.5. Yeah.
$2.5 million.
Yeah.
And Acid Rap was on SoundCloud for free.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean,
Why are we paying for his drinks?
No idea. No idea. Trust me.
that's why he's rich.
He's very rich. Yeah,
Hang
he's
on.
doing all
Quiet
right.
down.
You also have to think, I think, in the bigger grand scheme, the history of recorded music is only like 150 years old. So, things are going to level out. There was a point in time when we were paying $22 for CDs, and no one was like, how much money goes to the artist on that? And that was a crazy ripoff, So now
They were getting what, 50 cents maybe out of that
Maybe.
$20, maybe
So-
$1.
now it's like, it's like a buyer's market versus a seller's market. Now it's, it's the Wild West, and people can stream things off of SoundCloud. They can, there's plenty of underground things where you can get all the
Bandcamp.
downloads of albums. Does a download even matter anymore? So there's going to be a certain point when it levels out. But I think, quite frankly, like the major labels are like, trying to figure out how to keep making money. And I think they're the ones that are sort of slower to.
Because now because the tech companies, like I'm sorry to interrupt, but this Apple, went from being just a computer company to then becoming the world's largest music retailer. They put everybody out of business for the most part.
Yeah.
And now they might put the record labels out of business because people are going to go direct to tech. They're going to be like, why would I sign to a record label when I can just do a deal with Apple directly? And that's what people are starting to do.
And Apple's giving them more money to do, whereas a record label might give you $50,000 for your entire album campaign to make videos. Apple might give you $50,000 to make one video. So it's kind of cutting out the middleman who tells you what to do, and that's sometimes good.
It's like
That's a for better or worse scenario, though. I mean,
Yeah, not everyone.
that's, Apple at the end of the day is more interested in selling hardware. That's where they're paying their bills. They're not making money off of music. I mean, they might be making a little money off of music, but do they really care about music at the end of the day when the board of directors get together and talk about things?
It's a lost leader, right?
But that's what
Yeah.
that's what music is. I think it's sort of a vanity plate, like the same way that a print magazine. Like I use the example of Fader because I have clients all the time that are like, yeah, but are we getting in print? And it's like, who cares?
But I think it's that
Nobody
the
looks at
holding
that.
it and seeing it.
Yeah, print is a vanity plate.
Only on a plane is when
15-year-olds
people look at
don't
that.
give a shit. They want to like read it off of Facebook. They want to read it online. Everything. I read the New York Times every day online. But there's still a vanity plate that comes with getting in complex print, getting in fader print. When I'm like, nope, it's just online. They're like, nah.
Is that why
And it's
Fader,
like-
is that why Fader does 4 covers per issue now?
Sometimes they only do 2. There's some that are 4, but I think like music is a vanity plate. It's maybe not going to make, the artist might make more money. Apple's maybe not making a ton of money, but please believe, like, how many people in this room own an iPhone? A lot of people,
Yeah.
or a Samsung.
Or has a Beats by Dre headphones, right? I mean, that's what they're
So-
selling. Yeah.
That's so be it. 10 years ago, we just had iPhones for the first time. So
That brings up, we're thinking, I was driving this morning and I almost hit like 6 kids. They were just walking against the lights and they're all looking at phones. And I was like, kill you. What's up?
You're dead.
But it just made me think about how people don't even walk down the street. They're constantly on their phone. They don't know where they are. Like how if you guys had any kind of inkling of, I know Google glasses came out, like I said, people talked about it, was the Oculus Rift. Like, how far away do you guys think we are from, having like a news feed on the inside of your optical,
Not far.
glasses?
Not far. I mean, I did a project with Vice probably like 10 years ago they had a thing called VLES, and it was before Vice had like their own TV show and all this stuff. And it was meant as virtual Lower East Side. And it was like Sims, but Vice on the Lower East Side of New York. And you could like go, yeah, basically. But you could like go to the Cake Shop, which is a venue on the Lower East Side, and see Block Party, who was a band that, that was the height of their time, and see them play live and interact with other virtual people. And it was like, who's going to do this? And now it's like, everyone. It's called Pokemon Go. And, like a technology 10 years later actually made it better, and everyone does it. And there's people that straight up live. I mean, I was looking on Twitter last night of all these like music writers that are tweeting every thought that comes into their brain while they're watching TV, and they straight up have made their career and now their life living online, and who they interact with and what they do. And it's like, you're tweeting what you're watching on TV. You're not even like going out and doing something.
They got like 750,000 tweets. It's like, how do you have time to even do anything?
Or like there's a lady, I found out about her somewhat recently, this lady, Yes Jules, who's like a Snapchat personality, and straight up, she is like every second Snapchatting everything she does, and she's got a huge following, and she's really cool. But
I find that exciting. You're also kind of depressing.
I mean, I'm 37, so I find it depressing.
She's fun as hell.
Stuff you know. Is that cool if people tweet and share every single video all day long?
I understand it, but also understand like someone like Frank Ocean, who has like no social media, like was like the exception. Who, again, we were telling me, so how many first week?
Like 250,000 copies.
Did you see him tweet about it? Did you see?
He didn't have like a month-long campaign. He didn't start a fake beef with somebody to try to
But the
sell
thing
it.
is,
He didn't
if
have
he
to.
had social
He's a
media,
very.
if he had social media, he potentially might. I mean, 250,000 for like an album, 2 albums that were literally like every blog and every website was like a think piece or 10 about Frank Ocean. And as a publicist, I was like, I give up. Like, why even try? The fact that he sold 250,000 is super depressing, because 15 years ago, he would have sold 1 million first week. And I think that is a testament to social media, because there are some people that are on social media very limited. Beyonce is an example where, clearly she has someone doing it for her. A lot of people do. And I think that's part of an interesting strategy of like, maybe you're on social media, but you're not the person that's doing it yourself the whole time,
You could argue that Frank Ocean, he's obviously operating at a very, very high level right now, artistically. And there's a correlation, between the level of somebody's art and how much time they actually spend like screwing around on the internet. Because maybe all the time somebody else is spent tweeting is in these studios, right? You think there's a correlation. You find like the artists that tweet the most like the crappiest music.
I mean, just depends.
Kanye the kid where it started from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he tweets teach his own, but he probably does tweet bullshit, probably doesn't. Black Hole Pablo was all right.
All right.
So I'm saying maybe I agree, maybe I don't. I don't know. I'll let you know tomorrow. I'm privately texting you.
It depends on the caliber of the artist, though. I think, like, if you're an up and coming artist, I see a lot like, they're not up and coming, but Tegan and Sarah, I see them super active on social media, talking to their fans, retweeting other artists, like calling out new young artists. And quite frankly, if you're not Kanye, like that actually helps a lot. Kanye, like when he tweets, everybody listens because it's not so frequent.
It's Kanye.
But like that's an anomaly. And had social media been around when College Dropout came around, he was probably going to be doing a lot more tweeting then.
Yeah, and who knows if he'd still be around, because I do miss the mystique. I mean, I enjoy seeing people interact on Twitter, but I hate seeing artists argue with people and like be mean to people, and I hate that. The thing that was great about 15, 20 years ago, there was still a mystique, right? The only time you could see the artist was when they were on TRL or when they were on Rap City or UMT Raps, or when you read about them in a magazine. Like that was cool. Their image was very controlled. But with Twitter, they could just spiral out of control.
Can you imagine like Twitter going around like
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Yeah.
So I used to use MySpace and Hype Machine a lot to download music in a legal manner. And I was wondering, I remember seeing that blogs were changing from the MP3s to streaming a lot more. And I think a lot of it had to do with Hype Machine and labels. And I was wondering, since you've been around, do you think that Hype Machine had any effect on the streaming market and technology that was made?
I think it was a greater issue of the labels had, 50 years of making tons of money and massive margins on CDs and vinyl and things like that. And then there was a moment where everything went rogue and people weren't paying for music and they could hear it for free. And the labels have really spent the last 10 years, getting this genie back in the bottle, as it were. And we're at a point now where I think they've just about got it harnessed. I think we're at the end of this sort of decade-long rogue period that we
Definitely. Yeah, that's
on that front. So I think it's a matter of, when you talk about a company like Universal, you're talking millions and millions of dollars. And so no corporation that's that invested in something is going to let the kids run away with it for too long. They're going to rein it back in eventually. And I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, and I would get cease and desist from record. Like I would post, maybe a major label artist would send me a song, like, hey, put this up, and then their record label would send me a cease and desist. And it's like, no, actually, I have permission from the artist to put this, like, we don't care, we own this, take it down.
Well, even artists were getting their tracks
Right.
off SoundCloud because,
So it's been a weird game past 10 years. It's been weird.
That's interesting. I signed a publishing deal with Universal like 15 years ago and recouped almost all of it except for it was, out of like 6 figures, I made back everything but like $1,100, and I'm still getting notices from like Universal, like, where's our $1,100? Like, Jesus, man, it was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, right.
They'll get everything they can.
Yeah, for sure.
I have to leave through the back door of the house.
Hello. Oh, it's on. Okay, cool. My name is Matt Muse. I'm a hip hop artist from this beautiful city. My question is, huh? Trust. So my question is for everybody. Basically, I think when you think about streaming and things like that and making money off streaming, that is a great conversation. But it's also a conversation for artists who we already know and who are already doing big things like Kanye, Chance the Rapper, things like that. So my question is for local talent that is trying to get a name out there and trying to get that buzz up. I heard you all mention earlier that the blogs might be kind of dying down. But I, as an artist, still love blogs, still, read blogs, still want your music on there. But what are some other ways that you guys think is a good way to get your SoundCloud listens up or to get more people paying attention to what you're doing on a local level when you don't have, a deal with Apple Music or you don't have a label pushing your music or getting your music on a Spotify playlist that everybody's listening to?
I still think the streets are the most important.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I still think people don't think that that's important anymore. They should go straight to online.
That's the most important to me.
You still got to get the people talking about you first. It starts there on the ground level.
There's a rapper, there's a local artist right now that's not big yet, but it's kind of bubbling, like Joey Burke.
Like Lud Foe, he's like a rapper from the West Side that has like every video gets like 4 million views, and nobody in this. I mean, a couple people might know who he is, but like there's guys like that. They're starting on the street level, and now they're starting to get like the World Star love and like the blog love, and then in about a year the labels will start calling it.
I wouldn't discount blogs entirely.
Yeah, I don't.
Because even though the traffic might be down a little bit for general users, the industry's still looking at blogs and still going to these places to get their cues and their tips. Because the industry isn't on the street as much.
No, they're not.
Buying mixtapes.
But they might just come to you directly, as opposed to say, "Hey, can I pick your brain?" Or they might come to me directly and say, "Let me pick your brain."
Sure.
But I think, to say blogs are dead is wrong.
Right.
I don't agree with that. I just think
There's just a lot more.
There's a lot more noise out there.
I think you also want to target a bit more. You want to find the local writer that's really covering the artists that are similar to you. Find blogs that are writing about artists that are similar to you, and really target that stuff. You can't just send a blanket email to 1,000 blogs anymore.
We have time for about 3 more questions.
I do.
Thanks. Hi. Hello. Is this good? Hi, I'm Matt. We're with So Far Sounds over here, and you can imagine if you know who we are, why we're asking this question. What do you guys think about, and this is for anyone, what do you think about the role that technology now plays in live music consumption, and where do you think it's going to go?
You said live.
Like live music, like the experience of live music and how technology now plays a pivotal role in that. Yeah, we plan secret concerts where people don't talk or use their phones during the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of pop-up shows where people don't know who's playing until you get there.
People donate their living room or their kitchen or whatever to put on like an ultimate concert. Usually stripped down. It's a very interesting thing that you guys do.
That's a great compliment. Thank you.
But it's kind of anti-technology. Use the web to get, you apply for this, you don't know who the band's going to be. They tell you where the house is, you show up at a stranger's house, it's not a traditional thing. They use technology to that aspect. And you remove all, you strongly discourage using cell phones at these shows. I'm not doing all that, I guess. So that's an interesting question.
Last Childish Gambino tour, he didn't have any openers, so I would just DJ before he went on tour. Before he would go on. And when I was DJing, it was this big like projector like this. And if you had the Deep Web app, because the tour was called the Deep Web Tour, you can go on and chat with everyone and draw online, draw on the screen. So you can imagine, people drawing male genitalia. It was crazy. Like I would DJ and I would just look to the side and be like, "This song sucks. You're stupid." And it's like, "Why are you being mean?" But I feel like a lot of artists haven't done that yet too. Because even mentioning Donald again, he did like this 3 show tour like last week, and the only way to get tickets is through his app and to navigate throughout the tour. You have this app, so I feel like there are people doing things, but it hasn't been explored to its full potential, at least to my knowledge.
There's also, a lot of the, I know Yahoo has live streams of, they'll do live stream of Kimmel or a concert. And, I think even, I don't know if it's Virgin, some of the hotels, when Lollapalooza is happening, they'll do a live stream. And I was, last year watching The Weeknd on a live stream, in a bar with a cocktail on a huge screen. And I was like, this is actually better than being at the festival. So this year I had a bunch of friends who are my age with kids, and they were live streaming Lollapalooza at their house. So I think it just depends. There's a beauty of being at a live event. There's also something really cool about seeing people perform live, because if you watch the VMAs, you're like, this shit is not live. But watching a live show, and I also come from the generation where people used to trade. There's a few generations, but show recordings. So I think that's sort of coming back a little bit. So, I think that aspect of people care about, set lists. And the problem with the internet is now we're by the time I see the Beyonce show next week, I really already know what it's going to be. I know what I'm signing myself up for. There's sort of that mystery taken away.
That sucks.
But
that's interesting because so many people are using backing tracks and some of the technology for live show that you're pointing.
I've seen Kanye's show on Snapchat already, so I kind of don't.
I know what to expect. I don't know. I don't know.
It's kind of the same show every time. It's still a cool experience, but I think for people that are older, they want to experience. But for someone who's 17 and maybe doesn't have $400, they're like, cool, I saw it on Snapchat, and I got the rip off Kanye merch, so all good.
I think it's a tricky balance, because if you watch some of these, I love watching Coachella and Pitchfork Fest and stuff on live stream. But you see these bands in the middle of the day trying to be really gothic and interesting, and just the bright sun beating down. It's just kind of doesn't always translate. I have a friend that lives out in the boonies, and every night he's watching concerts on Periscope. He's like, yeah, I watched Paul McCartney tonight. I'm watching this Pearl Jam show, watching whatever. So you're giving access to people that might not have access, but it's also not that the experience does not translate.
Also, though, those shows at Coachella in the daytime suck if you're there live too. I think that's not a matter of the recording process. It's just not optimal.
You don't want to see your favorite pasty goth artist sweating in the hot bright sun. You want to see him in dark clouds of fog.
Makeup running off their face.
That might be the next one.
Anybody else?
Hi, my question's kind of in two parts, and stop me if you think you've heard this one before. For the artists and content creators in the audience, what are your attitudes and thoughts toward platforms like SoundCloud, Spotify, some of the other music discovery services? And further to that, where do you see sort of the innovation going around those types of services with social, with the ability to upload, download, share, and those aspects of it?
I think it's awesome. You know, I think the most important thing that people are checking for now is authenticity. You know, you don't want to read someone's Twitter that's run by their record label. You want to see like them beefing with Miley Cyrus online, you know? And, you know, looking at artists, and I think that's going to be the trend going forward, is putting all their stuff on SoundCloud, giving things away for free streams so that people can learn, you know, like 20 years ago, you'd read about something in Rolling Stone, buy the album after it came out, sit with, you know, that
Wow.
one album.
Sorry about that. I couldn't hold it in. I'm sorry. Don't judge me. Yeah, right.
Sitting with that one album for, you know, like when I was 15, I got to buy like one album a month, and I would sit and listen to it and learn every song and all the words and put all my money towards going to see them live maybe once that year. And now it's like, bands have to make money, so they come to Chicago 5 times a year. And there's so much music coming out all the time. Like, it's not even a matter of buy my thing. It's like, here's a free download doesn't even mean anything anymore. Cause like, who cares? There's a sea of free downloads. So
yeah, get this U2 album off my phone.
Yeah, I think the model has gone, you know, the completely opposite. It's put the cart before the horse, which is like, don't expect people just because you made an album to buy it, or because people, you know, writing about you to care. Like, you have to, I think, again, go out now. And it's like, you could be a critical darling and get the most press in the world, but if you have no fans, you know, because you're holding music back, like, I've had artists that didn't want to be on Spotify because they were trying to protest the, like, you know, unfair payment to artists. And it was like, okay, cool, you can do that, and that's what you should do. But also, everyone uses Spotify now to discover new artists. So you're kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face. You might have a long-term gain on that, but not really, because right now it's like radio, for instance, and you have to think about the US and then how things work in Australia and Europe, which are totally different. People look at the old school model. They look at first week streams on Vivo and streams on YouTube. And if you like have 1 million off the bat, then they're like, all right, maybe we'll consider you and put you in rotation. Or like, there's an artist, Kiara, who probably a lot of people in this room know, or maybe you don't know, but you actually do know, because she had an Apple sync on an Apple commercial and was getting tons of radio play. She had 20 million streams on SoundCloud before she got signed to Atlantic for a 7-figure deal. The only reason she got that deal is because she had that many plays on SoundCloud. And the only reason, you know, she had that many plays is because she, you know, she worked with a well-known producer. She got this amazing Apple sync and it blew up. Without SoundCloud, it wouldn't have happened, you know. And as an independent artist, you can get on Spotify, you can get on Apple Music, but that's when you really need a manager or a publicist or a record label or someone with those connections to be like, this person needs to be on this platform. But SoundCloud is like the democracy. Everyone can do it. Same thing as YouTube.
So easy.
The other thing about what's happening with these platforms now is they're looking for ways to enhance the experience. You know, to Dana's point about spending a month with a single record and immersing in that record. You know, Spotify is making a big play with video now. And I think there are a lot of tools being developed for artists to be able to enhance their work with videos and imagery and stuff like that. And I think that's where we're going in terms of really enhancing the experience, where it's not just 1 million streams on a platform to deal with. You know, the really interesting artists are the ones that are going to really create their own story on these platforms and not just exist there and hope people find them.
One more question.
Hi guys, my name is Paige Jillian. I'm a singer and a songwriter, and hey Matt. But I kind of have a couple of questions here. So kind of like you guys touched on earlier, there used to be a mystique to the artist, but now things are kind of all out there. Nowadays, would that help an artist more to still have some sort of mystique, or are the people really looking for you to have everything out there in the open? And also with that, what are like effective ways that you can connect with your fans outside of, or the people, the public in general, outside of the obvious release your music, you know, be on Facebook? How can we better use these platforms?
I think from a publicity perspective, like to me, that whole thing of like, I'm not going to show my face is like dead, or it should be dead.
Weekend
Let's
tried
kill
that.
it.
It didn't.
Yeah, I mean, the Weekend. Yeah, but Daft Punk. Yeah, but Daft Punk also, like, they didn't come out last week. You know, they came out before the internet. So I had a band recently. They were like, "There's this whole," because I was like, "Well, what's their deal?" As someone on their team, I should be able to know who they are and what their story is. And they were like, "They're not going to show their face and say who they are." And I was like, "Bye, I'm not doing this," because that's been played out. You know, like the internet now is totally about stunting. But it's like Beyonce did a secret album. But like everyone after, like that's it. Not interesting anymore. You know, like let Beyonce have that moment, because now everyone's like secret album. We're like, who cares? You know, it works.
Giveaway in a press release is mysterious.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I think like that's been done. Go think of something else. Like, and also the Weeknd worked because people really felt the music and it built. And even then, he still came out and showed his face. You know, but I understand the idea of like not wanting to like. A lot, like I get asked all the time for my female artists how old they are, and I'm like, why do we have to say how old they are? Because a lot of women in the music industry get discriminated against because they're over 24. So absolutely. I think it's totally fair to want to hold shit back. Sorry, but I think also, you know, I had a New York Times journalist that like when we wouldn't tell the age, they went and found the birth certificate. You know, so it's like.
So what do you say, like Steph?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm old.
No.
Clock's ticking, buddy.
Certainly a double standard. Certainly a double standard, as much of the music industry is. But
They usually just tell you if you're over 30, don't try it.
I think if you're over 22, people are like, we need someone that like appeals to girls who shop at the mall at Hot Topic and will buy CDs and clothes. So anyway, I think like be original. Come like. Don't like when someone's like, oh, I've got a rapper that sounds just like Danny Brown. I'm like, I don't want that. I already got Danny Brown. You know, like, or you sound just like Lana Del Rey. Cool, we already got a Lana Del Rey. So like, how about come with something original? To be like mysterious. Like if you're gonna do that, then just like don't have a publicist, you know, or like put out your music. And if people really love it, it's gonna, Kiara was mysterious. She wasn't answering emails and she wasn't doing interviews at press, and it blew up because she had a good song.
And I've seen that tactic backfire on people too.
Yeah, because sometimes people are like, cool, don't care.
We'll move on to the next
There's a balance though. I mean, you don't want to give everything away, but you want to maintain some mystique. I mean, I think there's a real pocket there you want to be in. I mean, I've been turned off artists I really like, and they're just telling me too much about their daily life, and I kind of go, ugh.
We have one last question actually from social media, and this is for the panel. For aspiring music business professionals, do you advise paying your dues for existing companies or jumping in as an entrepreneur?
I mean, I think it's different for everybody. I didn't have the opportunity to go work for somebody because that didn't exist in Chicago really at the time necessarily for what I wanted to do. So I just had to do it. It depends on what you want to do. Do you want to work at a record label? Do you want to be an A&R? Then you should probably go work for a label and intern at a label. I mean, I interned at a radio station, and it's, kind of come full circle because we do radio now, but it was a foot in the door and it was a way to learn something. I mean, I think it's good to have that kind of experience in the beginning, at least something, but it really just depends on what you want to do.
I think both, because I mean, I think I was the same thing. Like when I came up, there wasn't like, you couldn't major in music business, which is now a major in college, which is so hilarious to me.
Yeah, that was not a thing.
I think like go to college, learn like math and history and science and become well-rounded, and then like go to concerts and work at your local college radio or newspaper or intern. I mean, everyone that I know like started interning somewhere. So it's a lot about like any job in this business comes down to your contacts and who you know, because at the end of the day, you're going to have met somebody at a concert when you were 22, and then they're going to be the booker at a venue, and then the booker at the venue is going to introduce you to the Live Nation contact, and then you get, like, it's really a combination of just how you meet people.
And it's built a lot on contacts. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
great point.
So I
Guard those.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
There's a lot going on
It's a much tighter community, but like I think personally, like the biggest, I'm gonna get punched for saying this, but I think it's totally a waste of time to major in music business, whatever that means. Sorry, because like straight truth, everything you're gonna learn is by paying your dues. When someone's like, go eat shit and like file and fax and like learn how to do the job, and you're gonna make no money, and you're gonna be the lowest on the totem pole, and you work your way up. But there's not like, people come up to us all the time and like, I majored in music business and can I have a job? And we're like, no, because we have interns that have worked here for a year that like really know our systems and have learned sort of like the Karate Kid wax on, wax off style. And that's, I think,
stuff that a class can't necessarily teach you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and it's like you don't even have to have a college degree to get in the music business. You can just get in it. You can just
most
do it.
Most people I know.
TuneCore.
Yeah, right.
TuneCore.
Most people I know didn't, either didn't go to college and went on tour with their bands, or just like graduated. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's a good thing. Stay in school.
Stay in
Stay in
college or
school.
whoever. But I think like so many people like aren't able to like talk about books. It's like, as a publicist, you need to be able to write. So if you want to be a publicist, don't major in PR, major in English literature and learn some stuff, or like, music theory, so that you can come to the table, because that's what music writers talk about,
You guys have been an amazing panel. You guys have been a really good audience. We've got some breakout sessions this afternoon. I think there's some alcohol here, but it's all friends.
All right, y'all, let's give them a huge thank you. Super awesome. I really appreciate y'all sharing. Thanks, Blake, for guiding us through it. As Blake mentioned, we got some more stuff coming up. You're welcome to stay and mingle and make some connections. They're all amazing, but chances are the person next to you is probably doing something cool too. So please head down to the Common Club and meet them. Have some time there before breakout sessions. They begin at 2 p.m. There's gonna be one in this space and then also one up on the 25th floor. And here we're gonna have, I gotta make sure I get it right, The Sound of Money, the Value of Music in the Digital Marketplace. That's gonna be led through the 2112. And then upstairs, we're gonna talk about artists and marketing and how brands and artists are working together. So 2 sessions, they'll both happen simultaneously, so we can have smaller groups and have a chance to chat. So you can hit up both of those at your leisure. And I guess that's it. That's it. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Virgin, for having us. See you in the Common Club.
Good job. Look at you.
All 5 of you for a group photo, and then just 4.
You did a good job.
Okay, for sure.
Can you pause my music?